Welcome everyone to another episode of For Foot's Sake Podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you're listening only, we're available on YouTube as well, so make sure to head over there and check us out and subscribe to the page if you want to be notified on all that stuff. But let's get right into the episode for the week. What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in for another week. We're going to get started with the, as you can see behind me, the biggest match of the week, Chelsea-Manchester United. Ended as a 1-1 draw. Jorginho gave up that first goal pretty sloppily, but then scored the equalizer on a penalty for the 1-1 finish. How do you think the performance was, for a Chelsea standpoint at least?
Honestly, I mean, apart from that mistake, we were all right. I mean, you just got to give it to United. They were very organized.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you could say maybe that's a bit of a new manager bounce.
Right.
So I think they did kind of surprise us a bit.
Especially with the changed center back pairing, the no Maguire and no Varane. So they went with Bailey and Lindelof, who played pretty well.
You got to give it to United. So, I mean, I think that kind of threw Chelsea off. But apart from the mistake, I think the one criticism I could throw in is maybe Lukaku should have been thrown on a bit earlier. Because, I mean, nothing against Lindelof and Bailly. I just know that Lukaku, if you'd have brought him in maybe at halftime or the 60-minute mark, he probably could have given them a hard time. But let's see. Werner, I don't know.
He keeps on missing these clear-cut chances, man.
It's a tough one because, yes, he's got the pace that can just give a defense a hard time, but I don't know. It's just you bring in a guy like that for his finishing, right? Because you saw the goals he got in the Bundesliga, but then I don't know what it is. It's a weird one.
You think he might just have to be a pairing with another striker? When he's alone as a striker, he likes to go wide too much, and then kind of leaves the middle open. And I see him with Lukaku as being able to play maybe good 1-2s and being the pace to Lukaku's strength. But, man, when he's up there by himself, he gets in all the right positions and then screws up every finish. It's hard to watch.
And like you said, I would like to see that, though, a Lukaku, Werner, starting up top together. I think that's how you'd get the best out of him, really. And I think that's how it was back at Leipzig. He was with Poulsen. I think that's the guy.
Oh, Yunus Poulsen? Yeah.
Exactly. I think, those two kind of had that partnership, and I think that's what works for him. So Tuchel's the guy getting paid the big bucks to make these decisions, so we'll see what he does.
Yeah. You mentioned Manchester United playing pretty well since Ole is finally no longer at the wheel. That's probably the last time we're going to have to talk about him. After, obviously, that horrible 4-1 loss at Watford, that was the last straw for them. They appointed Michael Carrick for a few games. They got out of their group in the Champions League against Villarreal and then today against Chelsea. But it looks like Ralph Rangnick is going to be taking over until at least the end of the season. It's a good name, but is that who's going to take him forward, or is this just the interim that they're presenting?
It's looking like it's an interim. I mean, if the people upstairs at United get it right, just hold them as let them finish the interim period before they make a decision going forward.
Right.
It could work out in that respect. But, this is someone who's not new to the game. He's been around a while. In fact, Thomas Tuchel and Jurgen Klopp mentioned him as inspiration. So they know him very well from Germany. I believe, what was it? He did some work at
he was in
Leipzig and Schalke and Hoffenheim, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he knows what he's doing. And I've said it before, you give a decent manager that United squad, they're going to move. They're going to go forward. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting now, especially with the top 4 race, how that plays out.
Yeah, exactly. We've already seen poor little Donny van de Beek finally get some playing time. He's been kind of cast out of Solskjaer's United. But,
and unfortunately, Jadon Sancho.
Yeah, who's
from a Chelsea perspective, that was... So that'll be interesting. Like I said, I think you've got the right manager in place to move them forward.
Yeah. Looking at that 4th place spot, West Ham and Arsenal are both fighting for it level on points right now at 23. Out of these two guys, they're both in great form, but also both have mistakes in their games. So if you had to pick one of these two guys to finish in a Champions League position, who do you think is the most likely?
That's a tough one to call because I think West Ham's lack of depth, and I know David Moyes likes the small squads. I think that could work against them.
Yeah.
Arsenal, I mean, they've got to. I'll say it. They have a good team, but they're young, and unfortunately, with youth, promising youth at that, they're going to be inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, and then on top of that, you're going to need Aubameyang, players like that, to step up when those young players start getting inconsistent. So that is a tough one to call.
Yeah.
But I think I would lean a little bit this much towards Arsenal because and on top of that, West Ham's got European football too, right?
They do actually, yeah, and they've made it to the next round. So.
Congrats to them. But yeah, having European football and with a small squad, and especially with this stage of the season coming up, the holiday period.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a lot to navigate, and I think Arsenal not having that European football, that's gonna work in their favor.
Mm-hmm. Arsenal this past week won 2-0 against Newcastle United, obviously with their new coach Eddie Howe, but they still sit winless, the only winless team left in the Premier League, at the very bottom of the table with 6 points. This is quite a way to come into a new club.
He's got his work cut out for him. I mean, like I said, we're almost at the halfway point, and he's got 6 points, and 40's like supposedly the default 40, our default safety.
The magic number to earn yourself safety. Yeah.
6 points. They're gonna have to go on some crazy run. I mean, and hope that the teams above them seriously drop some points along the way. But yeah, that's a tough task.
And do you see them trying to bring in some reinforcements in the January window, or are they still trying to figure out how Eddie Howe, what he needs exactly?
I think there's still some figuring out, but realistically, I mean, why not go after some reinforcements? It wouldn't hurt. I mean, I think offensively they look okay, with the likes of San Maximin and Wilson. Yeah. And I guess
trying to get Joelinton back into the mix. We'll see how long that lasts, but yeah.
We'll see. That'll be an interesting one. But yeah, they've got to definitely get the ball rolling now, or realistically yesterday. But we'll see how that all plays out.
Yeah. Another somewhat underperformer right now is Everton. Just lost again today to Brentford. They're winless now in their last 5, which is about the time that Dean Smith started getting a little talking around his name. So I'm wondering if this could be the beginning of the end for Rafa Benitez.
Well, you got to keep in mind, I mean, that was not, amongst Everton fans anyways, that wasn't a popular appointment to begin with. Remember, he's a former Liverpool manager, for one.
Right.
And they did have a flying start, but then things just kind of tanked. And, I mean, he's, his name's got to be thrown out there as a potential sacking. I mean, look at that. Last 5 games, 4 losses and a draw.
Yeah.
That's not good. And then you look at, of course, the likes. You think about the likes of an Arsenal, now United finally getting things together, and then Aston Villa.
Yeah.
And it's not looking good for them.
It's really, I mean, you can't understate how much Calvert-Lewin has kind of screwed up their ability to score goals.
He's out too, so I mean, and then that just signifies that right there. That's a problem. I mean, you look at Chelsea. Sorry, not to throw my team out there, but they were without Lukaku, and maybe I guess Werner would probably be useful for something, but they were without those two for a good stretch, like about a month, right?
Yeah.
And goals still managed to pop in from all over the place.
Yeah.
So that is a problem. I mean, that's not good.
And moving over to the Champions League real quick, there's one more game left in the group stage. Most of these groups have figured out who's going out, but let's just do a quick review here. Group A is already kind of wrapped up. Man City went through first. PSG come in second. A bit of surprise with their squad, but again, Manchester City is very strong. Group B is going to be a really interesting last day. Liverpool have locked down first place with 5 straight wins, but Porto, Milan, Atletico Madrid, all very strong teams, sit at 5, 4, and 4 points. So that last game is going to mean everything, and it's Atletico have Porto, Milan have Liverpool. I don't know. Do you have any predictions for who's actually going to go through second in this one?
That is a tough one to call. Honestly, whoever's just up for it on the day, whoever just manages to come into that game ready to go, and that's what that's going to come down to. Whoever just gets that performance.
Yeah, that Atletico Porto game,
assuming that Liverpool can take care of Milan, and that's somewhat of an assumption. But man, that's going to be huge. Atletico have really underperformed by their standards in the Champions League so far, but when they're on their game, they can. It would kind of be sad to not see them in the next round. But again, Porto, these past couple of years have been performing really well in Champions League.
That's very true, because I think last year they got pretty far until Chelsea knocked them out, and last year. But yeah, and I've always had a respect for the likes of Porto, those three Portuguese sides, Porto, Benfica, and Sporting Lisbon, because you think about it, how many times first of all, smart recruitment on their part.
Oh, yeah.
Because they lose like their top players to one of the big sides like every year. And then somehow they manage, whether it's through their academy, through Brazil, because, that Portugal-Brazil connection,
right.
or just random parts of Europe, they manage to just find some diamonds in the rough. Sorry about that. That's what I was trying to, yes.
Diamonds in the rough. Group C is wrapped up too after a bit of a surprise that Sporting knocked out Dortmund with their first game back with Haaland. They obviously missed Haaland a lot during this group stage. But Ajax go through first, and Sporting have grabbed that second spot. Great for Sporting Lisbon, who many people didn't see getting out of this group.
Again, like I just mentioned, those three Portuguese clubs, they just credit to them. I mean, I think I remember catching the highlights of that. It's pretty impressive, and that was an interesting group to begin with. But yeah, you would think Dortmund would have taken that, and interesting. Some questions probably to be asked of Dortmund. I haven't had a chance to check the Bundesliga to see how they're doing.
Yeah, no, the Haaland's hip injury had him out about a month, and they've kind of dropped a lot since that started. So I think they had him back this last game, and he scored on his first game back. So it's obvious that when he's not in the squad, they're a much easier team to play against. But yeah, going to Group D, Sheriff tried to make things interesting. Surprisingly got 2 wins out of this group, but it's Real Madrid and Inter going through first and second. No surprise there, really, I guess.
No, not really. I mean, I guess credit to Inter after, how many they lost a lot of players over the summer, but
no, they sure did. Yeah,
the fact they're still pushing on, good for them.
Yeah. And going over to Group E, this is going to be interesting on the last day. Bayern taking care of first place, 5 straight wins. Barcelona couldn't get it done against Benfica this past time, another 0-0. They do sit 2 points ahead of them, 7 points and 5 points respectively. But that means Barcelona have to go to Bayern Munich and get a win on the last day to go into the next round, or hope that Benfica drop points somehow. Is this worth a prediction?
I mean, this is a crazy sport. Anything can happen, and it's just Xavi's going up against Bayern Munich, a team that just doesn't skip a beat. I mean, they're a solid team. That's going to be. I mean, like I said, on the day anything can happen. But let's be real. I know Barcelona's your team, but I'm going to have to say Bayern, unless it's just one of those days where just nothing's clicking for them. Yeah,
you would think Benfica would be able to get 3 points against Kiev, which would leave Barcelona in the position that they had to win, and that's not a position you want to be in against Bayern Munich. Of course, if they do drop any points, Benfica, then it would be a much easier road for Barcelona. They could even lose that match technically, but I think it's a good chance that we're going to see the first last 16 stage for a long time with no Barcelona. Wow. Credit to Madrid, actually, who, I hate doing this, but just got their 30th straight last 16 appearance. They went 30 years for 30.
That's insane.
So that's kind of explains their dominance over this tournament for sure. But yeah, that last Bayern-Barcelona game is going to be one you don't want to miss. That's going to be really intense. Group F. Let's see. Manchester United are going to go through first. Villarreal and Atalanta are going to fight out for the last position in there. They're playing each other on the last day, I believe. Let me double check that. They are. They play each other on the last day, so that game's going to decide who goes through in that group. Any guesses?
I can see Atalanta going through.
Yeah.
Because I mean, nothing against Villarreal. From what I can see, they look like very much a mid-table Spanish team, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the last year they, I guess, overachieved because everyone thought last year was kind of their breakout year, but they've struggled a bit this year. Yeah.
I've seen Atalanta play, so I mean, I think
they just beat Juventus again this weekend. Actually,
so I mean, solid. Yeah, and they probably should have beaten United, but
yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, I could see Atalanta going through. And poor young boys. I mean, they were just that team in the group.
Yeah, there's always one of them. Group G has been kind of a toss-up. Let's see, just going down from first to fourth place.
Oh, wow.
Lille with 8 points, Salzburg with 7, Sevilla with 6, Wolfsburg with 5. I'm pretty sure Wolfsburg might be still mathematically alive. Everyone, it looks like, is alive.
Who plays who?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That is insane. That's just, what is that?
Lille, Wolfsburg, and Salzburg, Sevilla. So, I mean, I don't even know what to guess at this point because it's all going to go down to...
Yeah, I'm not guessing that. That's just...
What a group, man. They're all, like, decent teams that aren't that great. But, man, this is what you like to see, though. It comes down to last game, and every team's still in it.
Exactly.
That's awesome. And then Group H, we already have 2 people going through, Chelsea and Juventus. It looks like Chelsea are probably going to go through first because of their 4-0 win this past time. That was quite a performance by the Chelsea guys.
I was unfortunately on the road for that, but I made sure I caught the highlights.
Yeah. So yeah, there's the Champions League wrap up by the end of I think December, the first week in December. We'll have the whole lineup ready for the last 16 stage.
I'm going to say this about PSG. I'll make the claim now. They're never going to win a Champions League. No, I'm serious. I mean, yeah, they can bring in the best players, but they don't have the culture in place.
That's fair.
Because, you look at Chelsea, people can say, oh, they bought this, they bought that. Realistically, there's some type of standard, and that comes from the top.
Mm-hmm.
And it's there. Those players, they're focused, they're committed,
Yeah, Tuchel had a solid 3 years or somewhere around there at PSG and you see what he does at Chelsea. He obviously makes a huge difference. But there's something about that club, and Pochettino's finding out about it right now. I'm sure he might not even be there much longer. But when you have a front three like this, like Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi, even if they play at the same time, they just don't look convincing at all. And if you're not going to get a better squad than what they have right now, ever, I don't think.
No, it's just, I think the only thing I can say is, Messi's up there in age. We all know he's not going to be the same player he was like 5+ years ago.
Right.
Neymar, well, we all know the story of Neymar. Incredibly talented player, but he's just not exactly a consummate professional. So that's what you're going to get.
Yeah.
You'll get flashes of brilliance, but then, of course, his injuries.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mbappe, look, I think he needs to get ready to make that move.
Yeah, he's been teasing that Madrid move for a couple of years now, and Madrid seems ready to take him, and he seems ready to go. Yeah.
Just for his sake, though, he's at that stage. What is he, 21, 22?
Yeah, something like that.
He's at that age where it's time, for someone as talented he is, it's time to make that move, go to a Real Madrid, go to the Premier League, somewhere to just take his game. Because I think that's the only way he's going to take his game to the next level is he makes that move. I think he's done what he could do at PSG, and it's just time to move on.
Yeah. Out of, let's see, Haaland and Mbappe are somewhat like the new superstars, the next guys. I don't know. Where do you think that? Obviously, we know where Mbappe's probably going to go, but Haaland has been teased with like every single club in the Premier League that needs a striker, including Barcelona and Madrid, Athletic. Almost everyone's in for this guy. Where makes sense for him to go?
The Premier League. That's a Premier League player. Come on.
To City then, because they are in the need of a striker? Or?
I would hate that. But
yeah, Manchester United are probably going to be in for him. Chelsea have expressed interest.
I would not be opposed to Chelsea. Lukaku, I think you can get another good 5 years out of him. And Haaland, yeah.
Would you be down to get send Werner on a deal to Dortmund to get Haaland?
If we could do a swap deal today, I'd be like, hey, go for it.
Yeah, I could see that happening. He was good in Germany, so maybe he'll get his game back, Timo Werner, and then Haaland can come destroy in the Premier League.
He is a Premier League player. You just look at it there.
He's just the best of the best, man. Like a poacher's poacher, like Lewandowski, Ibrahimovic type. It's like one of those where he gets his foot like 5 feet above his head and just taps it in. He just has incredible flexibility for being such a huge dude.
Yeah, he's got to go to the Premier League. He can't go to Spain.
Who actually has the money? I guess Chelsea and City, maybe.
United have the money. It's just they don't know how to spend it.
Yeah, Man, it's going to be it literally depends on whatever he wants because everyone's going to give him the money that he wants probably.
Well, absolutely. Actually, I take that back. I don't think we're going to get him because as long as Mino Raiola is his agent, we're probably not.
I forgot he's with Mino. I hate Mino.
Yeah, so City will probably he'll probably go to City then. They'll cough up the money.
Yeah.
It's got to be the Premier League for him. And Mbappe, yeah, it's probably going to be Real Madrid because Real Madrid love their superstars.
They do.
And I think he kind of fits it all together. And who knows, you probably have Agent Ramos out there blowing his head up about, hey, you need to go to Real Madrid.
Yeah, it's true. Ramos, by the way, just played his first few minutes for PSG coming off the bench.
I think he's done. As much as I hate to say it.
Very well could be, man.
Because, what was it? Last year was just nothing but I think, he missed the Euros because essentially injuries.
Uh-huh.
And, I know he's one of those players who definitely takes care of himself, but it's just...
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially at his age, you start getting on that end. Yeah, it's... I hate to say it.
Thanks so much for listening to another episode, you guys. Make sure to keep on sending us your questions to forfootsakepod@gmail.com, or as always, reach out to us on social media @forfootsakepod. Also, make sure to catch those midweek Premier League games. Now that we're getting into the Christmas season, there's going to be a lot more midweek stuff going on, so there'll be a lot more to talk about. But thanks for watching again, and we'll see you in a few weeks.